Continuing on about that video about the deep state co-option possible, I don't know. We're just we're talking theories here of Trump entering into neocon type mindset with the bombing of Syria. I still don't know the facts. I don't think anyone does. And one of those things we probably will be a long time before we find it out. But what you have to understand is, okay, last week, most people I know, my friends, people at work, people on Facebook, report that they had a very difficult week last week. They had a situation where they had nightmares. I had terrible nightmares last week. They had they had situations where they couldn't sleep, were in bad moods, lots of migraines, just awful, just an awful week for people. It's a lot better today. The bubble seems to have popped. And then the attack on Syria happened. Now, what this is on we're going to talk on a magical level now. So I know you all think it's just global politics is cold and hard, but your life and your world is a product of magical forces, both the ones you produce yourself in passively and the ones that are imposed upon you deliberately from the amble of the psyche through the lords of perception and the psychopathic control grid. Now, the situation arises where the darkest of dark forces, when they are working, there are manifestations within the five sense reality. Good examples of this would be prior to World War One, you had the event at Fatima in Portugal. You also had Carl Jung and many people reporting these visions of Europe being drenched in blood. You had this sensation that something dark was going to happen. The same with World War II, the night before the Third Reich annexed Austria in 1938 and walked in. There was a phenomenal light show all over. It really was the beginning of World War II, what they call World War II. I mean, the Third Reich aspect of it. There was an incredible show of lights all over Europe. Europe lit up in all different coloured lights. It's in my book, Valpurgis Night, if you don't believe me. It really did happen. And this is when you have the black magicians at work. Now, it didn't happen before 9/11, people think, but it did. Many people, including myself, I keep a dream diary, and my dream diary from August 8 from 2001, I'm having a dream of standing above a large city like New York on the ruins of a building, and all there is girders. Now, you've seen my dream experiment here on the velocity of now, and this stuff is real. Now, why does this happen? Do we have premonitions? No, we don't have premonitions. What we are doing is we're picking up the evil at work. The evil at work, the planning these things, we pick them up, we sense them. We sense them because some of us are very strongly attuned to that. Some are not. Some are very powerful senses. But even if they don't, they manifest in the ether, such as the lights above Europe on 1938. Well, last week, the reason why I'm going easy on the Trump thing is because I'm pretty sure someone like Gladio is behind both the initial chemical attack in Syria, if it really happened, the launching of the Tomahawk missiles, the probably blackmailing or coercion of Trump to do it. Through most horrific means you could imagine. We're talking about dark people, and then also probably even the bombing in Sweden. Now, or the attack in Sweden, the truck attack in Sweden. Now, it's almost inconceivable, even for me, who's been studying this psychopath thing for years, to even grasp how utterly evil and insane the leaders at the top are. They're just mad. They're insane. I mean, like I said in the video, a lot of them have issues with syphilis, hereditary syphilis, and they imply ruthless psychopaths to carry out their horrific ideas. Now, it's black magic. Now, these are the Aztec clerics of today. The clerics that we have in Aztec times who are sacrificing people, involved in blood sacrifice, well, they still exist. Who they are is the top of the deep state. And many of them are just civil servants. Now, I know some of you might be civil servants watching this saying, I'm not like an evil magician, but you're part of an evil process. You see, the civil service is evil because, especially at the higher ranks, that's the real deep state government, the top of the civil service. They're the ones who tell the politicians what to do, and they've been entrenched there for years. And more disgustingly, they have not been elected. They've not been elected, and many of them are political appointees as well. So in every country, so they have tremendous power. It's a perfect job for a psychopath. Now they plan these things and they operate these things and they work willingly with these sort of like the ones we'll never know, those who will never be named, who are the real forces behind all this. I know you say the Rockefellers and all this stuff, but that's even beyond them. There's something else beyond, someone else beyond them. And my own study into the higher levels of Freemasonry suggests that they may not be even human. Now, that doesn't mean they're aliens from another planet. They may well be some kind of transhumanist creature from the future who's been brought back. So they are essentially demonic in the very true Greek sense, demonic. And that's why I don't discount anything. That's why, I mean, this is why we're dealing. This is the nature of the deep state. The deep state and the civil service is the same thing. It's the Orwellian inner party. You all saw the 1984 movie and read the book. The part was played very well by Richard Burton as O'Brien. O'Brien represented those types. They're not only involved in the dark stuff, but they love it. They love it, but they love to torture and they love to destroy. And that's human sacrifice. Winston Smith his humanity was sacrificed in order to make him love Big Brother. And that included turning on Julia. They found the deepest, darkest things inside them. Now, since the advent of psychology, there's no need to cut hearts out. So they just attack us inside. They attack us inside our psychology. It's like, whoa, it's really nasty. And the deepest cuts of all are done with words and mind games and gaslighting, and not done with knives and things like that. Because they're the ones that they're more effective. Because it's one thing to commit a blood sacrifice and kill the person that's being sacrificed. It's even more effective to kill them but they're still alive, and you do that through psychological and psychic attacks. Anyone who's been subject to psychic attacks knows exactly what I'm talking about. Multiply that by millions. And the darkness is beyond what you can even imagine. It's outrageously dark, and it affects everything. It creates vermin through all aspects of society because it creates a lower end of society. Like, I'll give you an example. That so-called truth movement, right? I would say a sizable percentage of that is so-called people calling themselves truthers, putting all their effort into attacking people who are trying to help them and give them information. People like me and others. Now that's the same. That's the vermin at the lower level. And you have the vermin in the middle, who'd be the mainstream media, and then the vermin at the top would be these dark magi I'm talking about. This is what has happened. I mean, this is why you all felt so bad last week. This is why I was having these nightmares. Something was coming. Also, the Renfields. What I call the Renfields. These are all the lunatics who run smear campaigns or go crazy or behave insane. I had a problem with one particular quite disturbed and twisted individual last week that just demonstrated to the whole world what a fruitcake he was. He was Renfielding. That's what that's called, Renfielding. They're almost like the early warning signals of the something happening in the deeper picture. Always watch the mad, always watch the insane. These control specimens are very useful because they start Renfielding. They start running smear campaigns. They start becoming hysterical. They start showing the world just how batshit crazy they are. This is the deep state. The deep state, and this is Gladio. This is all these people. But it's not just like you're attacked by one end, you're attacked by many ends. Because these dark magi at top, they know that what they do creates a pyramid of fear that extends all through society, and all the ones below them who have the same pathology, or all the insane below them, will start synchronistically Renfielding. And so it's just like Dracula. He's coming to Whitby. What happens in Whitby is it goes mad. The women become more sexually active. Renfield in his cell develops more more psychotic and pathological behavior. Down below that, you have the doctor in the asylum. He starts shooting up more and more opium. It's just Renfield, all the way down. And you know this. And then the rest of us in the middle, who are in the middle of that, on the different strata of the pyramid, who are not on the side. See, the pyramid is like this. On the mental, people are on the outside. The dangerous are on the outside. The normal, bumpy man is in the middle. We're feeling or getting attacked all the way down. In our dreams, in our sleep, in our souls, in our minds. And then suddenly Tomahawk missiles are launched at Syria, and then it feels like the bubble has been popped. Then they want you to be hysterical, blaming everyone, seeing this, that, the other. What they don't want you is to go, let's see what's going on here. Let's think about this. They want you impulsive. They want you like this. And this is that's pushing. Even if you're saying you're pushed towards the Renfield exterior of the pyramid, so it's chaos all the way down. Meanwhile, they're on top, and there's no earthquake below. You see, that's the whole point of it. And this is how the control grid works. The best way to deal with that is not to Renfield, is not to join the nut jobs and the psychopaths on the outside of the pyramid, but it's to maintain structure. Okay, you hear this story that if you remove the bottom of the pyramid collapses. Well, that's not true at all. That's even metaphorically and every other way. The pyramid has internal structure that goes all the way up through the center. That's what we are in the middle. What you do by that is you will hold the structure so the exterior falls apart, and the only thing propping up the control system at the top is the sane people in the middle, because all the Renfields and all the psychos and all the psychotics have all fallen down. And then that gives them tremendous power, because suddenly they're the only ones controlling them at the top. You see, and this is why they don't want us calm, they don't want us collecting, thinking, they don't want us thinking that way. And that's why I'm a very firm proponent of creativity, magic, art, all this kind of thing, and learning about yourself, psychology, mythology, understanding your roots and where you came from. Not to say that you're better than anyone, but to say to yourself, point at an ancient building, my people come from that. That's me. They want you only thinking you existed as long as the last Pepsi commercial. That's what they want. They want you thinking you only existed as long as the last episode of a soap opera, or the last sports match or football game on TV. They don't want you feeling a connection to anything real. They want you connected to their superficial things. Like that Pepsi commercial. They were trying to say all the people in the world who are probably waking up, well, you wake up at Pepsi. You understand? So therefore you're connected to that. You're connected to their bullshit like Occupy and Russell Brand. They're not connected to your true roots. This is why they destroyed the indigenous Europeans first before they attacked all the other groups in the world. Now the Aztecs were the same. The Aztecs were exactly like that. Something came when the Europeans arrived. You see, the conquistadors are often portrayed as horrible and stuff like that, but in reality they probably saved millions and millions of people from being killed by the Aztec priests, and they were like aliens who arrived from another world. You see, this is what we have to think about this. Those Aztec priests and the Aztec royal family were infected by the same demons that the British royal family and the aristocrats and all the power structure at the top we don't know about. As I said, there's popular culture, there's people who blow the whistle. Dennis Wheatley in his horror novels from the 1940s on, he's telling us, look, where do all the evil things take place? In stately homes and country manors. Lord this, Viscount that. They're all the aristocrats. It's always been a kind of a class war. They tell us, we're told who they are. We're aware of who they are. This is who is doing it. We're always given clues. They tell us, and I mean, if you want to watch one movie that really shows you how it's done and how it works, It is the movie adaptation of To the Devil a Daughter. You wouldn't get away with this today. And it's basically, you know, pedophilia. It's the Catholic Church involved in pedophilia, magic, and ritual, you know, murders, horrific murders of pregnant women. And exactly what happened in that film is what happened in Tuam with the babies in the septic tank. And it's not just the Catholics, it's you know, or the Vatican. They're all together. They just have different branches of these things. And it's very, you know, people are going around, they're satanics, they're satanics. They're the biggest fools of all because they want you thinking they're satanics. They're not. They're probably, you know, they're probably posing as atheists. They probably really are atheists. A lot of them are Renfielding themselves. They're under control of forces they don't know. Yes, you want to know the truth? There's a lot of truth to what David Icke says, that there's probably a non-human intelligence behind it all. They're not reptilians. I've seen no proof of that, although I do agree that there is some kind of, maybe this focus on reptilians as being an evil force, maybe developing the consciousness of certain snakes. That so a lot of people keep boas and other snakes as pets now, and just like cats and dogs develop like humans after a while, I think the snakes are probably going this way as well, which is something people have to be very careful of. They have snakes, especially if they have children. And I'm not against ownership of a pet snake. I'm just saying to be careful. You know, be careful. It's and the same thing. You know, it's like. There's I don't know what it is, okay? I've been studying this for years and years, but I know that our ancestors on rock art in Neolithic times 5,000 years ago from all over Europe and around the world told us that this is there was something beyond here that was running us, and it is a computer program, it is a matrix. You know, Anthony Peake and people like that are bang on. It's totally, that's what it is. But the problem is, who is controlling the matrix? We are not. We don't have the power in our brains to do it. But suppose you do. Suppose there is another life form on this planet, the digital jinn that I talk about, that does have the ability to manipulate reality far beyond the greatest magician or the greatest alchemist or occultist on earth. The power that they would give them over the human race is phenomenal. But we know them by their shadow. You know, like I was saying the other night, just because when you see a crescent moon and you can't see the dark side, the dark part in shadow, it's an absolute darkness. Well, you know it exists because you cannot see the stars behind it. And that's what I say to people. We have to keep looking for the hidden stars. When we find the hidden stars, we'll know who it is. We'll probably never find it in our lifetime. But be warned, be wary. Are the demented syphilitic encrusted psychotic and psychopathic aristocrats who run the show are not answerable to themselves. They're answerable to a higher force. And the more I look at this stuff, I don't believe this force exists in this reality, and it's certainly not fucking human.